All right, being 5 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Baird.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Mansmith.
Yes.
Wisniewski. Kimball.
Here.
Ernst. Millen.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Awesome. I'll give you a minute to look over the meeting minutes from March 21st. And if there's no changes, I'll look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve as is.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second made. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Move on to discussion items. Park maintenance update.
Did you want to introduce Jason?
Oh, yeah, we can, sorry, take a step back. Introduce Jason.
Yeah.
And also thank you, Jason and Tiffany, for accepting reappointments. So, and we had an opening. Danny Clark is apparently moving on. So, Jason had expressed interest about a year ago. So we asked him, and he, again, if he said yes, so welcome. If you want to introduce yourself, or if everybody just, I don't know if you all know
my
each
name's
other.
Jason, another one. So, I don't know. This guy's bigger than me, so I won't get confused. But I actually live just right down the street on Eureka, so we use this park a lot. But we also use the other parks in town. We use the trails, so it's just. I'm a stay-at-home parent, so I have a little extra time every now and then to do some things. So,
Good. Well,
Thank you.
glad to have you on board.
glad to be involved and had a good time when everything's just getting started and changing and whatnot too. So,
Good time to get on. As things are moving forward. All right.
Okay, sorry.
Park maintenance update.
Yes. Okay, so Alan, Chris, Tim, and I sat down last week, I think, and just discussed the park maintenance and upkeep when it came to mowing, weed whacking, all the fun stuff. Alan blew up a big map of all the city streets, and they highlighted every single part of village map, every single part of town that. Whether not even just parks, just anywhere where it's getting push mowed, weed whacked, or either one of the mowers, the Toro or the John Deere, I think is what it was. And we figured out which parks utilize which mowers, how long it took to mow each park, how long it took to weed whack each park, how many people you need to finish all the tasks in the week, or how much time it took to just do everything in one park. For example, like Murray, took
3 people, 8 hours.
one day, and then Barlow was a day and a half for just mowing.
3 people, 11 hours for Barlow.
Yes. So mowing takes up a lot of time.
That's all.
Yeah. So last week and this week, actually, like all of DPW has been all on mowing to get it ready for Memorial Day and just in general for the park, since the grass has been growing a ton. And apparently that's never been done before, is what Alan learned. So it's new for them too, to all be involved, which is actually cool. So we're just working on creating a system that keeps the parks and other green spaces consistently mowed, weather permitting.
In the past, usually this week was focused on cemeteries.
Yep.
So, and just to be clear, yes, cemeteries take another 3 people all week.
That's
That's
huge.
to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's 3 people in parks, 3 people in cemeteries, and then 3 people on the right-of-ways and other areas we maintain. So a total of 9 people, 4 to 5 days every day, for the week. To
Which
keep
there's,
up. And that's like 1 mowing.
which there's
Was
9.
staffed.
It started. So I would say, in talking it through with Alan, we probably were a week behind. If we would have started the practice a week earlier, we probably would have been more caught up. So we've been getting some complaints about parks and mowing and whatnot. So we've tried to go back and double mow or triple mow even to make it look nicer. At the end of the day, we've talked about what other equipment or standards we want to set. Certainly, we can't be in the business of perfection all the time or bagging, but certainly, whether we have fields or areas like Barlow that are more publicly visible during holiday weekends or say around Ripon Fest or something like that, we may have to invest in like a sweeper to help clean that up because we sold that piece of equipment in the last few years, so we need to now replace it again. So Alan and Ashton are working together to sort of plan that all out, but having a new public works director too and him looking at it, he has entire spreadsheets and is really diving deep into this. So we are keeping ahead of mowing on all areas. We can't just ignore parks for a week to do cemeteries, which I think at times had happened.
Yep.
And we're just trying to avoid that, but getting the right mix in place and making sure we're keeping up has been the goal. And then Ashton helps out once in a while and is
I'm the weed lady.
The weed lady. That's what Adam said.
If you didn't see it on Facebook. Yeah. I haven't been able to this week at least, but I'm almost done with the one. I have one little section of Ceresco I couldn't finish last Friday, but I'll be going around to working my way around the playground. I got myself a little shovel from Ace, so I just go and pick her all out.
Do we have enough equipment and enough people to get it all done? That's the big question.
The full maintenance
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
At this point in time, we kind of get caught in that gap too of waiting for summer help.
That's what I was wondering.
So summer help starts, our last one comes on board at the beginning of June. We're probably down in terms of total staff numbers to throw at it. We have about 14, 15. So, really what happens is if we're going to address this comprehensively in the 9 people, that only leaves 5 or 6 for everything else.
Right.
And so as the season goes with growing, if it slows down, we certainly can pull back. But we understand right now with Memorial Day and the pace of grass growing, even without rain, we are, I think, just really trying to throw as much as we can at it to just sort of stay on top of it, and then hopefully as summer goes by, we can readdress it.
Thank you.
Sebastian's got to get on more. She'll get on more too.
It's fun.
I've been on a 360 once.
Right.
It wasn't the greatest at going straight, but I did it.
Oh. The more you
Also,
do it, the
their
better
other
you do.
duties as assigned, right?
Right. Whatever else needs to be done.
Yeah. Anything
Park?
else? Yeah.
No, not for that
That
one.
was it. Park use for nonprofits.
Yeah, so,
For that.
the memo Adam sent out, essentially we are just looking to create a policy to clearly state nonprofit park use. For me, it's unclear who gets it free and everything. One, because I'm new, and then 2, it's not really clearly laid out. So then I have to annoy Lisa or Adam and ask every time, does this person get it for free, or this group,
Yeah.
whoever. I have a list that Lisa gave me, which includes the school groups and a couple service groups she wrote down, but it's just not enough information. And also, like what Adam suggested or was talking about, like, for example, do they get 1 free usage a month and then they rent it regularly like everyone else the rest of the month? Or some communities even do, not saying we have to, but it's just an example. Some communities do just 50% off for any nonprofit, because then it avoids the arguing of, well, they get it for free, why don't I get it for free kind of thing. And then also some, they have to provide documentation that they're a nonprofit to the Parks and Rec director, whoever. So I don't know, it just, something has to be created so it's cut and clear. Yeah.
Well, and even if we charge the nonprofit half of what we would normally charge anyone else, we have costs that are incurred every time the park is used by a group for something, whether it be,
Yeah.
you know, the maintenance, the cleaning, the bathrooms, whatever, and that's costs that we incur.
Mhm.
You know, if we can cover part of that, it's still coming and helping out.
When they use it at no cost, do they still have to fill out paperwork for indemnable things
Yes.
and those things? Okay.
Yep.
As someone that works with various nonprofits and has used the parks, I would not be against paying half the cost. You know, I don't see that as any kind of like barrier to most groups.
Mhm.
And,
It's not gonna stop them from wanting to use the facilities,
yeah.
to be honest.
That's what I was reading, this group, and that's what people said, it doesn't, they're still gonna use it no matter what.
Can we get like a fee schedule for that at some time, just so we can see what it is, you know, possibly, so it's a little bit.
Like, you're saying like what the 50% off
Yeah,
of?
yeah.
Yeah, I'll just pull up this real quick. So this is the facility use application I created. It's kind of hard to read. Okay, so here's like the resident rates for right here for, it just depends on the day and obviously weekend, as you guys know. So it would be $25, 75 divided by 2, math. Sorry, my brain's not working. Yeah, so obviously you can see it there. So it's not like an astronomical amount or anything.
Right.
And then also, I forgot to take the deposits off now that I'm looking at this. So we started a different, I don't know what to call it. Now, anybody who rents something, they don't upfront pay the deposit. So they pay the fee for the park, and then afterwards, if something's damaged, then it's essentially like a damage fee. Then they pay, we'll charge their account the $50. So I need to change that. But, so yeah, it's not. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Still very reasonable
Yep.
cost.
Yeah.
So you'd add a column there that says nonprofit, or just?
Yeah, I
Or, or
keep it
just,
separate.
or just put a clause
like
on it that says
50%.
So
nonprofit.
it's not probably
Yeah.
50% off.
On the resident cost?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well, if it's a resident nonprofit group.
right, I mean, an
I mean,
outside
if-
group could still come in and be a
Right.
nonprofit, that would charge them a non-resident.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the ABA that wants to use our park for something other than their facility, they're not a resident. They would have to pay the non-resident fee. Yeah.
But then there's like the school. So we use, like if I were to use the tennis courts for pickleball,
Do a trade.
Bill said, Bill
It's a
said I
trade-off.
wouldn't pay. So then
Yeah.
I feel like the school would be different.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
And that's what
We
we've
can-
done in the past, basically, like with the softball fields and the baseball fields for the teams in the spring. We do work on those fields. In turn, it's a trade-off
Yeah.
from being charged and vice versa, whether it be using the courts, you know, for basketball, those type of things, so. So when is that, you looking at doing that, instituting it?
Sooner than later would be awesome.
I love that answer.
I think we should, you know, we wanted to sort of workshop this at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, we can, if we want to meet in June, we can meet in June. If we were going bi-monthly, then certainly we don't necessarily want to wait that long.
No.
Do we need
So
to make a recommendation to
we
the
can make,
council? or-
we can make a motion to implement the policy that charges 50% of the park fee rental structure for nonprofits, subject to confirmation that they are a nonprofit. The exemption would include the Ripon Area School District. I think that is an appropriate
Yes.
portion of it. And to just have authorize Ashton to create a formal policy. We'll work through that. If we have to take it to council, we certainly will, but I think it's kind of been an area where, you know, we've got to do something, because I think the experience has been, even with this facility, there's an expectation that anybody can use it for free.
Yeah.
And
That's not the case.
That's not how it's going to work all the time. So, so sooner rather than later, but certainly we can work on a draft and bring it back if that's what you prefer, or we move something forward based on recommendations.
I think we could move it forward on the recommendation.
Okay.
And get it instituted. Now, I know in the past, it's always gone to council for final approval because it is charging citizens, so the sooner we can get that moved through, so especially
We'll
this
get
summer.
something drafted and we'll try to get it on the council agenda for June, if, you know. So do we have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the nonprofit rate for the park rental fees at half. If that makes sense?
With no school?
Yeah,
And
with the exception
exception
of
of
the
school.
school district will receive at no cost.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Less weak, baby. All right, moving on to disc golf design and installation.
So,
There's stuff in your packet.
I've been working with Howard and the Kiwanis group in regards to implementing the disc golf course. So the Kiwanis group has a $3,000 grant that we can use towards the project. I was told it was $1,500, but then she realized it was $3,000.
That's what you had told me last year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so that was all situated. In the grant, it specifically states that the city would be creating concrete tee pads. If the cost is too high, or depending on what we're doing for the expansion, and we decide to go another route for the tee pads, the Kiwanis group would just have to verify with Webster's that the change in tee specifics is okay with them.
because originally, when Mike was head of Public Works, we did not want to go with concrete tee pads because it would be a hassle for the mowing and creating more of the weed trimming. In that aspect, that's why we had looked at going with the rubber mats, because they could go right over them.
Rubber is no.
Yeah.
They just get slippery when it gets wet.
Well, the ones that we had looked into, that we had talked with some other organizations, were the cow stanchion pads. I don't know if you're familiar with those. Those are gritty, those have a little bit more grip to them, and that's what we were
They
looking
still
at.
eventually get. It
Well,
wears down.
everything-
It wears
everything
down,
does.
Gets slippery.
Yeah.
Whereas concrete will stay good. I actually don't mind the gravel tee pads that they have at Rick's.
Yeah,
That's actually not a
I
bad
know.
option.
I play out there,
Um,
they're okay. The only thing is gravel goes everywhere in the grass, and that's, we want to keep our parks looking good.
Yeah.
In that aspect, so.
One option would be to maybe keep it somewhat natural of a tee pad and just use a tee front. Instead of just pavers on either side.
Right,
Just use like a 1 foot wide, 3 foot, 4 foot long
but you still get
section.
the grooves from people.
Yeah,
And that's what we're trying to avoid with going with some type of pad.
okay, yeah,
To
concrete
eliminate
then would be
aspect.
what I would
Yeah,
recommend.
and concrete,
It's just a matter of making sure
you gotta build it so
build
it's
up the
flat.
ground around it and build it down
Keep
in
it
the
flat.
so that you can keep it level.
I mean, that's the ideal way to go.
Yeah.
but,
I wasn't sure what the idea for tee pads and whatnot.
Yeah,
was.
what we had looked at was like I say, the cow stanchion.
Best way to keep costs down then would be only to go with just one tee pad for each hole,
Right.
especially if we do want to expand to 18. Then it's not quite as necessary, and you can always add a tee pad or two here and there later.
Well, that's why when we originally set it up, we went with 2 tee pads per
Was to get
hole to get an 18 hole
Right.
type effect, because that's what we had to do
Right.
to be listed on the PDGA
Yep.
site. So that's why we did that. But, and people look around here and they go, oh, we got a lot of space there. you don't realize how much space down that way,
Yeah.
you know, Russell Manor has. It's not city property.
I was looking at that, the little map of it
Yeah,
here, and
you know, it gets thin down through that backside.
Sorry.
I have it up here, must be
Yeah.
hard to.
So, yeah, Ashton and I have talked a lot about this and the hierarchy of tee boxes and what I think the premier product is concrete.
Yeah.
That is, if we want to do this right, certainly concrete is it. Signage is also, I think, very important.
Mhm.
yes.
That's gonna be a major cost.
At the same time, you know, we have the $3,000. We're just looking for guidance. I think Ashton is in reviewing this. Do we want to explore expanding it? Do we want to focus on concrete? Is that the goal? Because if we do that, I'm not saying financially it's
I know
totally
that
feasible.
9 extra baskets
Yeah.
is takes your whole $3,000. And
Yep.
that's all.
Yeah.
It says,
There, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
that's 9 baskets
Yep.
Yep, that's
on this specific site.
Mhm.
that site for that basket, but it's a pretty,
Yeah.
Yeah.
$400 to $500 per basket. is
Exactly.
The average
Yep.
price for a quality basket that's not gonna rust out in a few
Yeah.
years.
And we've been very fortunate with what we've had here. They've held up very well.
They do, I love these
You know.
baskets.
Do you know what kind they are?
Yeah.
They're Mach 1s.
Yes.
Oh.
They don't make Mach 1s anymore.
Nope.
Right there, the Mach 3. They're faster.
They're Mach 10s now.
I think this one's a
That's the Mach 5.
Yeah.
We have Mach 5s we have a set of Mach 5s at the course in Ripon, and they are really good.
Mhm.
We also have a set of Prodigy and a set of Ripon. That's just because the first set of baskets was the ones that used to be somewhere else in Ripon, and then,
Mhm. They brought them
and then we bought the orange ones, and then we bought the blue
Well,
ones just this
in.
last.
Another thing to discuss is, do we want to turn around and just get the 9 set now with the nice pads, and then look for grants in that to expand the next 9 in the upcoming year or so? Because I mean, that's going to be an expensive project.
Yes.
So,
That
with
was-
the fitness court, you know how I was talking about one of the grants? So the information finally came out and it's actually only $20,000 for the grant, but it's a small capital project grant and it's $20,000. So I thought, we'll get into volleyball too, but if there's a way that I can apply for it for either or the projects, this
Right.
one, volleyball, whatever, to
Mhm.
cover the cost of it. That is not saying I'm gonna get it, but that's an option
Right.
that I can apply to see if we can get the funding for that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, fixing and the current 9 that's there is actually pretty simple.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's already done here. I did notice that the map here where they have these 2 baskets, 2 actually plays to this shorter one, and then 7 plays down to this long one.
No, this is actually the way.
Wasn't
2
there
comes over to here.
No,
Yeah.
No,
I played it a million
I laid out the course.
times. I know, but that's.
2 comes over here, because then you go to 3.
Yeah.
7,
We need better
seven
signage.
comes here.
See, the signage is.
Well,
I think
7
7.
used to be over here, we had to
Yeah.
move it down to here
Okay, yeah.
because of the layout of the building. This used to actually be back here and come straight up
Yeah, I
through.
was playing the whole route. I was
Yeah.
putting 7 over.
Yeah, no, that's why we moved 7 down to here, because it
But-
gives it a little bit more length to it, but,
I knew it didn't look right. I'm
Yeah,
like, no, we didn't
yeah.
cross the line.
Yeah,
We never
no.
crossed.
you were
there. What's that?
playing, but yeah, and that comes to the.
This is my idea, is, it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
number you number the holes, but take and play, if we move around a few baskets, this is where the basket is on 6. What if we play from this down to the basket on 5? Where 5 used to be is now. Then put some tees here, we're already playing across the, half.
The sidewalk, and that doesn't
So-
make a difference.
So we put a short basket in up here to where 4's basket is currently. And then we play down somewhere over to here, and then 3, then 8, then 9, then 1, then back down here.
Yeah.
Could even pull 2 back up into here somewhere.
We want to keep some of this open space available for,
Okay.
Just open space for people using the
2
park.
2 stays the same, and instead of playing 7 from here down to there, you play it from there up to here.
yeah, I mean, it's an option.
Just moves things around, gives us, gives it a new look. I played this Safari Bowl.
Oh, we played,
I love that.
we played from here all the way down, we used to play down to 3. Yeah.
So I think we certainly want to get the 9 back in.
Mhm.
If there's a goal to expand it, I think we need to plan that out. If we can do, it doesn't have to be 18 either.
No.
We can do 12, we can do 15.
Mhm.
I'm thinking that a little smaller would probably work better, especially since we have that tight little alley there to
Yeah.
get to the second part of the course, you know?
And also she has, T17 is also in Russell Manor's Lane, so that, like, it's,
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
see that.
so it'd be shifted,
So,
yeah.
I just don't know that it's all that, I mean, that's a great little area over there, but to get from this area to that area.
It's-
you know,
it's tough.
It's just not.
That's why when we originally laid out, we had thought about going that way, but they just.
Because it's like Rosendale.
Yeah, how do you
Has
get
their
down here,
weird
then you
little,
gotta
like,
come back
you
up?
walk it, and then you're like, where do I go now?
Mhm.
You know, and whenever there's that where do I go now moment, disc golfers get really annoyed.
Yeah. But, and that's why with, you know,
I mean, I
this
know,
building
some
coming
stuff
in,
can
it
have
took,
fun, but
it took and changed things a little bit. Like I say, number 4, we ended up setting up here because if we
Yep.
went back around, you know, people are gonna cheat and come up and go over the building. and
yeah.
We wanted to avoid
Yeah,
that
no,
aspect.
exactly. When I came, before you even put Seven's basket back in
Yeah.
over there, and I played, this is what I did, is I came over here and I played.
Yeah, right by the power box out here is what we did for
Yep.
for 4 coming up. That's where it should be painted on the ground if they haven't, because I went out and painted one day and laid things, but, you know, the nice thing about this course is it's a beginner intermediate course, and that's what we wanted,
I somehow never score well.
you know, because of the winds. You know, the people that really want to get out and play competitively, they go to Riggs, they'll go to Zobel
Yep.
and play, you know. It's nice to come up here on a Sunday and you see, you know, a family out here.
Yeah.
And the kids are throwing frisbees, you know.
There's 3
Which
different
is the
levels
same.
of disc golf.
Yep.
You have your competitive PDGA folks, and
Yep.
they're playing the bigger courses,
Mhm.
so we're not worried about them.
Yep.
Then you have your casual competitive, which is the people out in Ripon that I play with and
Mhm.
run events for, that they want a little bit of competition, but mostly they just want to hang out with friends. And then you have your families
Yep.
and your teenagers,
Yep.
and we want the families and teenagers and eventually the
Then-
small events.
Yep.
Well, then I think 9 holes is the way to start.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we look at spending the money on,
I mean,
The
I would
pads-
focus on making this really, really nice, and then if we can figure out how to get going that way.
I think that's the direction
Yeah.
we need. I think Ash and I have been struggling with what, you know, what standard we want to set. And my opinion on it and talking to Ash and whatnot is, you know, if we are going to do this, we want to do it right. Because, you know, we understand that we took this building and put it right in the center of a course. So now let's
Really right.
rebuild it and rebuild it right.
Well,
And if it requires us to pour concrete, it requires us to pour concrete.
Right.
I think that is the long term, that will help prevent us from having it moved ever again, right? Like, so signage, concrete,
Yeah.
we can start with 9. I don't know if we have
I mean,
members
if
that
we
can talk
start
about
with 9, and start with 9
Yeah.
concrete pads, and then we can even add,
Add-
you know, a second pad later, or
Yep.
a smaller second pad that's just made of patio blocks or whatever.
something,
you
yeah,
know.
exactly.
In the future, to add, you know, it's always nice to have a future project to look,
Mhm.
to work towards as well, so.
So concrete pads, everybody?
Yes,
Yeah.
concrete pads, new signage.
Nice signage.
New signage.
Can we have a subcommittee of expert disc golfers?
Well, that would be
We'll go out
these-
to- yeah.
We'll play a couple rounds.
Yeah, exactly,
To
yeah.
design out what we were gonna
Any
install.
changes that we need to make or
Yeah,
whatever.
and then
Yeah.
we can,
We can reuse the baskets we have,
Yeah.
they're still in great
They're all in
condition.
good shape, yeah.
okay,
None of them got hit by the trees,
Good.
thankfully.
You don't need to pull those out.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to pull down those.
and then the Kiwanis front, I don't know if I pronounced it right every time. Kiwanis? Okay, yeah.
the early birds.
Yes, they actually want to do sponsors per sign again.
like they did before, okay?
Yeah, Joan just told me that today, so I think she said $100 per sign, and then she said whatever money, or it would be obviously 100 times 9, so 900 would also go towards the project.
That's cheaper than you charged the first time.
That's what it was, 150?
So-
Yeah,
It was 150 when
Yeah.
I.
We do
did
500 in
six.
the pond, but it's a 5-year,
Yeah,
but we do it for 5 years.
well, this was a one-time deal,
Yeah.
what they did when they first did, they just wanted to help offset costs
Mhm.
and that
So are they
stuff.
selling that and everything? They're doing all that?
That's what she said.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Which, they're putting the money into it.
So, but we ultimately, and we talked about this too, if you can see on the memo here, Ashton has a new logo for it.
Yeah,
We are going to,
Here it is.
start incorporating that.
that will be put on every single sign. It will be
Yes.
I
branded,
like that.
everything, and we want to take ownership
Yes.
in this disc golf course as
Mm-hmm.
parts of it, right?
Yes, so it'll be the early birds
The Kiwanis
and
logo,
then ours,
the recreation sign, and then
the sponsor.
who's ever sponsoring
Yes.
and the layout of
Yeah.
the whole, like they have right now.
All right, we'll finalize the
And
design.
they're only going to charge $100 for that?
We want to get this done.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Mhm. Unless I heard her wrong,
I'm just thinking
Yeah.
it's cheap. To be honest, I'll give her a
If
call.
anybody knows the concrete people, that would be the next thing.
I mean, when we put this in, it was 150.
I
We could
mean,
double it to 200 at the least, and you would have no problems finding 9 people, groups, organizations, or whatever to throw down,
Yeah.
especially if we're going concrete
bet
off the bat.
you could get 9 people downtown.
Yeah.
I mean,
Businesses,
yeah.
Yeah.
Canoes,
Mhm.
Jay's.
We'll sponsor again. Well, Jay's is,
Well, they got
Sauce.
the new sauce front
Yeah.
coming up.
Cheese sauce. galore.
Yeah,
yeah,
they got the storefront coming,
Yeah.
so.
so, but yeah, I'll give them a call, and
Okay.
just suggest to her that they
Let's get one.
look at upping that, to 200, which
Sounds
will
good.
help with costs, and it's not that big of a cost, and, and then I want to check with her, is this going to be a one-time cost and they stay, or is this going to be like for a 3-year time period, some way to keep getting revenue back into
If
the,
you do it,
into the course?
the way we have it in the pond is we have the sign, and then it's a smaller sign underneath it, so that
Mhm.
we can change them out.
Right, exactly.
I mean, so far we haven't needed to change them out, everybody's come back on board.
You charge,
Yeah.
$200 a year, for example, or $200 for a 3-year time period, or make it a 2-year time period as a sponsor, and you could charge $500 for a 5-year or 4-year.
Wait, are we
Given
charging,
it's
or is that Kiwanis?
that's
doing
Kiwanis.
that?
That would be-
Let
that would
them
be-
figure out what they
that's
want to
them.
charge. We'll just take
But
whatever.
yeah,
But as far as the signage goes, then we just
Yeah.
set it up as 2 separate signs. We have
Whatever they
the
want.
course
I think
sign,
that suggestion is
Yeah.
not a bad one.
yeah,
yeah, the
That's-
course sign, and then a sign underneath it for the sponsor.
Sponsored by, yeah.
Instead of on the sign itself. that
because then you gotta make a whole new sign,
And
which
we scan it and everything else.
is ridiculous. But
Been
yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, so, all right.
awesome.
All right, well, we'll push forward.
Okay. All right, anything else on the disc golf course from anyone?
The only other
You and
thing
I
that
did together.
Yeah, the only thing I was thinking was maybe pull one over here and put a sign, put the big sign out
Well,
here.
Well, the nice thing about the big sign is it's on the building, it's solid, it's not gonna, you don't want a huge big sign sitting out in the middle of nowhere. That's why we started with one up there because of that aspect. Plus the restrooms are there. When
Yeah.
people finished up, they finished up back there, there was a restroom.
Yep.
Because even though we have a restroom here, it's not many disc golf courses around have 2 restrooms.
That's our marketing ploy right
There
there.
you go. Play and go.
It's almost got 2 now.
Yeah.
They put one in down at the bottom.
Depends which tree, but not just
They put one in at the bottom and one at the top.
Yeah. All right, sand volleyball court project.
Yeah, so Adam and I were talking one day that the same volleyball court that's currently at Barlow, I honestly, going past it, I didn't realize it was 3. Like that's how like overgrown it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I just thought it was 1 when I first started. And essentially we just have to, have to take ownership now. I feel like now that I'm here, there's like a kind of like a standard set of what the park amenities look like in our and that's just how I feel. I don't know how anybody else feels, but now that there's an actual set person for it. So I would love to be able to offer like a sand volleyball league, but I don't want to offer a sand volleyball league there. The net looks like a smiley face and it's just weeds everywhere.
Everything else is.
Yes, and yeah, it's just not great right now. And we talked, and Alan and I talked first, and that's what that little sketch is. Alan made that for me with the kindness of his heart. He didn't ask me to do it. So he sketched that out for me, and that came after the fact of figuring out what we need there. So based on the slope of the park right there, we don't need tiles, but we still would need some sort of drainage system. So talking with R&R and Alan, there would have to be a French drain system underneath it all. So it'd be the French drain system, then it would be the clear 6 inches of clear stone, then there'd be a non-woven geotextile fabric, which is a lot of money for fabric, it's very surprising. And then at least 20 to 18 inches of sand. Yeah, enough to, because playing sand volleyball, people like dig their feet in and kids playing it and whatnot. So there has to be a pretty considerable amount of sand. And I made up this little thing, and currently it's, what is it, like 120 feet wide?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it shortens it, but what I have is a little bit wider than what's currently there. I think it's like 67 feet currently, width-wise. But that is like the standard of like a good sand volleyball court, like a nice setup one with enough space between the 2 courts where there's less interruptions of play, whereas currently all the courts the 3 are together.
And really only one of those courts at a time gets used up there.
Yeah.
I mean, we did that project 3 years ago. The volleyball, Riptide, I think they call themselves the Riptide volleyball program, came to us and wanted something done with it. So we worked with her and us, and then Udley Quarry donated the sand. But we went up there and we dug down 8 inches, dug it all out, put in the sand and that, and then my business donated a new net. And the deal was they were going to maintain it. And you can see how far that went. About a year. That first year was maintained, and then after that it just didn't happen. So,
Yeah.
But I've always said 2 courts up there is more than sufficient. And I like the layout that you've come up with for that.
Yeah.
It's a nice looking. I played when I was young in Fond du Lac all the time. When I was like 19, 20, I just go to the park and play like all the time. And they always had nice courts.
Yeah.
They had similar, setup.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of space in between them so that you can, not throwing balls at each other all the time.
Yep.
Exactly.
And so I just got our quote from R&R. I reached out to Novak, Egbert, and Polish Excavating, and then Alan also sent more that I can reach out to at like 4 o'clock. He sent it, so I haven't reached out to them yet. But then I just got a quote from R&R, and it definitely was more than what we expected. Yeah, when we were first talking about it. So this was just for the excavating, not just, I should not say just. This is excavating all the sand, the fabric is $2,500. And before they gave me this quote, I looked it up online and I thought I was reading it wrong. And that's just, she said it's just a crazy price right now for the landscaping fabric. And then, so I found a net system. This is actually an adjustable adjustable height sand volleyball net system. So you could do co-ed, you could do women's, men's,
Youth,
yeah, whatever. And it offers more variety for more play and whatnot. And that for 2 of them, it's around 5,500, and then just for the concrete to put the poles in, it's about $300 worth of concrete too. Yeah, so it's about $30,000 current with this quote, and then I'll reach out to all the others and compare to see what else we can come up with and whatnot. But yeah, I just want it just done. I just want it to last longer.
yeah.
I know one thing that's
Do it
sticker
right.
shock here, but when's the last time we invested any money into this?
Yeah.
Right, I mean, it's decades,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean,
Yeah, it's been a
we have
long
to be
time since I've
financially
seen
fiscal about it, I understand, but
park
that's not the
updates.
look.
It's two things that go
And I know there's a lot of priorities in the parks, and Ashton and I talked a lot about this, about where we could, do a project in Barlow that isn't overly expensive at this point, and we were a little shocked by the cost, but overall, my conversations with her there's expressed interest in leagues.
Yes.
We can't even we're not setting her or anybody up for success by saying, let's have a league day now. Nobody's going
Right.
to ever come and play. We have to sort of take 2 steps back before we start programming and look at our facilities. And this is one that, in our park master planning effort, we did move from the current location. But I think this is still probably the best location for the time being. I don't know if there's any plans really to do like a softball field there anytime in the next 10 years, frankly. But for us to actually use this space, I said, we're at the point, frankly, folks, that either we just plant over it, seed it, and be done,
Or do something.
or we bite the bullet and we do it right, and we start picking off these little projects year after year in the parks. Obviously that money could go to other priorities in the parks, but
But this is something that you could get people interested in and excited about, because this isn't it's gonna take all summer project. It's dig a hole, fill it with rocks, put some fabric in, and then fill it with sand. I know I'm simplifying it by a lot,
It's
but at the
exciting.
same time, that's really what it is. Like, this is something that can be done in a very short period of time, and you can get people excited about, hey, leagues are coming,
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity to monetize on the leagues, right? I mean, you would charge a fee in order to be part of this league, right? So we have an ability
Because
to
there's
make some money
software
back on this,
involved that
right?
needs to track wins and losses and stuff like that.
There's
So.
ways to make money off
And,
this.
I've done a lot of work with R&R Wash, with the trail system and that, and they are gung-ho to help things in the city and that. I mean, they donated years ago, fill for the JV baseball field. They brought through truckloads at no cost. They brought fill in down here for when we were doing Diamond 6 and that at no cost. So they like to give back, and they're going to keep it as a reasonable price as possible.
Right, and maybe we can find another person, somebody donated the last sand, maybe we can
Yeah,
find
we had
somebody to
a quarry donate
again,
the sand last time, whatever.
That drops almost 10 grand off it.
In-kind donations are great, if you can find them in that.
Mhm.
How much interest is there in volleyball?
There's quite a bit, based on the survey. When I first started, I think it's not a lot of emails, but I had 3 different people emailing me, asking me what I'm doing with the sand volleyball court, and like giving me suggestions on where to get sand. And so it's definitely wanted, based on just what I've seen. And I feel like it's a sport or an activity in parks that will like never go away. Like, not like horseshoe. Yeah, like volleyball's gonna stay. And that's just how I feel about it.
And there
Yeah.
used to be summer volleyball leagues.
Yeah.
They used to play on the front arc area at Barlow Park, because that was a flat spot. Years ago, they used to mark that out, put up temporary nets, and they had a lead.
Mhm.
And you can, Ripon Fest is up there, maybe they
Could utilize.
utilize it and do a tournament. There's
Mhm.
other things. It's
Mhm.
certainly, it's it's sort of that if you build it, they will come, right? Hopefully type thing with a lot of these things.
Mhm.
But we've done some work to understand that people want it. At this point in time, we don't have anything worth coming to. So if we build it right, I do believe that there will be a growing interest in it as well, that could come from outside as well. We would then take ownership in it, and this is a big component of this. The idea of having people donate is certainly important, but the city of Ripon in the parks and with Ashton here, the communication we've had is if we do this, this is going to be a very nice volleyball area, and we need to keep it that way.
Mhm.
Well, and I mean, it would become a rentable thing too. If
Exactly.
someone wanted to run like a tournament or something, they would have to rent it, just like they rent the shelters
Exactly.
and stuff
Yep.
too. So, again, it's a huge amount of income, but if every little bit helps to offset any of the costs that we might be doing.
Mhm.
Timeline, do we have an idea?
She did not give me a time. She just sent this to me this morning. Like, we met with her I just gave her this information yesterday. She just sent it to me. So it's been a really quick turnaround. So I didn't get a timeline yet, which I can reach out to her and ask.
Are you dealing with Brenda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
She's very quick on getting back on things.
Yeah, she's really fast, yeah.
So I think the goal here is if you all want to pursue this, we have kind of a number in mind of around 30,000-ish. We do, based on our policies, we have to price this out a little bit more. We do have to get a couple other quotes. But the goal would be to move this project forward as quick as we frankly can.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about money and stuff. I pressed out a budget here. You can see where we are for the year. Some of the full-time salaries, part-time salaries, and health insurance, as you can see, are under what we projected. So there's around $38,000 that we budgeted there that we do not anticipate using. You're welcome. Thank you. So that's where, when we're talking about the disc golf course and doing concrete, it's more expensive. When we're talking about the $30,000, I think that's about max that we're going to spend. I think we can absorb this and make some good improvements year one. Try to get leagues set up for the summer, yep. But certainly this year may be spent on just getting things to a point where we can have something run next year, because we're just behind.
Well, you can even also look at a possible fall league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran one last fall. We went into the end of September, or October.
Yep. They know they used to have a fall league out at the old Meadowlands, and always busy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's huge.
Mhm.
Do we need approval on that? Or-
Yeah, it'd be great to get some
Some direction, of at least moving forward.
Yeah.
And obtaining
Yeah, I'll get
additional
one.
quotes and.
if you want us to, we'll have to look at it. If we want to bring it back, if you guys trust the process, we can say not to, we want
Not to exceed a certain amount of dollars.
$31,000, say, or whatever this amount. What is this amount?
I can do that.
Assume that this is our high bid so far.
And assume that is the worst case scenario.
I don't think it's gonna be.
Well, no. But this is our baseline.
Yeah.
Oh, you came in too high, sorry.
So not to exceed $31,000.
Yeah, because there's some concrete costs.
So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that sounds reasonable.
Wow.
And then look for
We'll look for quotes.
donations
Yep, and we'll look
from
for
sand.
Yep.
whatever.
In-kind donations or whatever.
We can
They
start.
could have their name on the pole.
They're actually, oh, you can only have 10 letters. So on the pads, you can put, it's like a free, I just put Ripon on it as for when I was putting it in there. But yeah, you can put words on the pads.
The pad usually runs into it. And, I think there's ways, if the guidance is not to exceed 31, we'll start looking at if people want to help out with it as well. It's just kind of the first time we're digging into it, so.
Yep.
Is that a motion? Anybody?
That's a motion to not exceed $31,000 for the project.
By who? You?
Well, we can't let Jason.
As I said, I got 200 in me.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody else said.
Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second.
All right. Jason,
Mix it up.
seconded the motion. Yeah, we'll have to start putting in the records Biggie and then Jason.
Louis' last names.
Any other discussion on that? Anything else that you want to throw out there? All those in favor of approving the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, programming update?
Yeah, so it's super small, but the first program just went out. It's called Plush Patrol. I know some of you saw it on Facebook, but so it's partnering with the police department, and every Wednesday throughout the whole entire summer, a family, they can each, if they have 5 kids, they can bring 5 stuffed animals, whatever they want to do. A family for a full day brings in their stuffed animal. The stuffed animal stays, and they get to be an honorary police officer for the whole day. So they get to go on an adventure, essentially, and the police officers take pictures of what they're doing. They could be fit testing their vests, they could be patrolling the town, whatever. And then they take pictures and then they send me a description of exactly what they did during the day. And then that goes to the kids and they get to see what their stuffed friend did for the day. And then they get what I did prior was a certificate of achievement for honoring police officer. And if Bill has something that, I'm sure he has something that they give to kids and stuff like that. I'm not sure, I haven't asked him about that, but so that's the first program that just got sent out yesterday, and it's actually, I think I have 1 spot left. So that felt really good to me because I struggled hardcore to get people to sign up for things prior, and to see it fill up that fast, I was like, whew, this is great. I was so happy. So I met with a gal named Carolyn Myers today. I don't know if any of you know who that is, but she's a art teacher in some school around here. Not in Juneau. I mean, oh my gosh, Juneau, sorry, Ripon. My mind's still stuck. Not in Ripon, somewhere else. So she actually wants to do, it's called a plein air event. So it is a art event for the city. And she wants to partner it with, if there's a certain event in town, like Ripon Fest or something like that, where we could do it just there. I would have to talk to them. I don't know if I would be able to do that. But so what it is, it's a 3-day art event. So on day 1, they bring in a canvas. The canvas gets stamped, and then there's a theme, like the little things in Ripon or something like that. So they have 2 days to create a painting of there would be a geographic circle. You have to paint something in this circle, what you see as what Ripon means to you. You paint that. You have 2 days to do it, and then at the 3rd day, there's a gallery of all the paintings, and there can be specific age groups, all the way from kids to seniors, and there could even be a family section of it and whatnot. So she just talked to me about it today, so we don't like have specifics or anything. It was more of an idea, but I thought it'd be really cool to do. I don't know, it's engages everybody in the community. There's no specific age limit or anything like that. Where they would have to pre-register. It has to be stamped in order to count, because then you know that they didn't work on it for like 2 weeks prior or something like that. So I don't know, I thought it'd be something really cool to bring here, and it's something small, but
Something different.
yeah, different, yeah. So that's fun, different. And just other programming that's in draft mode as it shows up here. Oh, this is the website if you guys haven't seen it yet.
I'll speak in that.
That's good.
Yeah, thanks.
That's great.
Thank you. Yeah, so Noreen's is here, and then mine goes straight there. Right now, everything's in draft mode, so only Plush Patrol shows up, but then Noreen's all for activities are here. And then same with rentals and everything like that, like I showed you guys prior. It's a super nice website. I'm excited about it. But yeah, so one of the things I have in draft mode is sports programming, specifically for younger kids. It's the like fundamentals of basketball. I don't know if I'll do soccer because the Scott family,
Scots do that.
yeah, they do that. But like tennis, volleyball, stuff that isn't done as much in town, and baseball and all that's already taken care of. So I have that set up here, and then I'm partnering with the library and Boys and Girls Club in the summer. They have like a Stepping into Science Week, Wild Wednesdays, a sports week that I'm working with them as well to get my foot in the door when it comes to programming. And then the library is also doing, I don't think they have a set location yet, but they're doing a story walk, and they're going to be putting it along the fence line in one of the parks. So they would follow the fence in one of the outfields of it, not inside the field, but on the exterior, so no one gets it, on the outside of the baseball or softball diamonds. So they're going to do that. I don't know the specifics yet. I'm having a booth at the annual Kiwanis Children's Fair on June 17th to promote Parks and Rec and then new position and everything like that. So yeah, that's programming wise what's happening right now. Yeah.
We are encouraging all seniors when they come in as well to check in.
Oh yes,
through
sorry.
Rec Desk.
That's
We are
important.
encouraging everybody to go through Rec Desk.
Yes.
It's been sometimes a struggle, but ultimately we are encouraging that because we are using the registrations to look at data to make decisions, right? So how many people are coming to this senior center? How many people are registering for these events? All can be reported out through this, so we can make recommendations moving forward for programming and budgets. So
Yeah, it's super nice. So this is
you
what
don't have to
I.
show everybody's name.
Oh no, it's okay. So that's like I just exported that. So like on the website, I just click export, and that was Plush Patrol, and it just puts everything in an Excel file. So it's super nice when it comes to tracking who's doing what, stuff like that. So that's just a quick little blurb of it. But yeah, so our tablets are sitting over there, and our tablet and iPad. That's what the seniors use to sign in when they come in every day.
How is that big
Fingers
though?
are an issue. So we try to use stylus because a lot of them struggle with the fingers. But we're getting there. And today I think Noreen said what'd she say? During stock box, she got 12 people registered, and then more people registered before that too. So today we're slowly getting the seniors on there and accepting of it. So.
And the smaller program too up here is just you see some of the artwork
Oh,
of
yes.
the college. There's another one in the hallway. I think they're working with us, and then the artist will come in and do a talk about their stuff. So we're slowly rolling things out. Hope to do more and more.
It's nice for the seniors to have the different groups or people come in and present something to them.
Yeah.
I mean, in a few more years, I'll be here.
I'm eligible and I'm waiting.
It's 55 and up, right? I'm riding my skateboard on the curb up
That's right. No grinding.
Oh, and then Noreen has, she got a yoga in the park grant through the Webster's Association, I think is what it's called, if I'm correct. And it's specifically, it's for the senior center, but anybody can go to it. So I'll also market it. it'll either be chair or like regular standing yoga, so it'll be good for, I don't
For
know.
all ages?
Yes, so I'll be, even though it's not directly like my program, I'll be marketing it as a senior and rec together.
And that'll be take place at
Here.
here?
Yeah, so I don't remember if she said out here or if it's underneath the shelter, I can't remember, but it's somewhere around here.
And when is?
June, the second week of June it starts, so that's what she just said today, so I,
So if people are interested, they should contact.
so I gotta get it out like, now, yeah,
Okay.
me or Noreen, yes.
You or Norman?
Yes. Noreen will also be, she'll be gone, she's going on vacation shortly, so,
Yeah.
probably,
It'll be, just so people
Yes.
watching can
yes,
know
me,
if they're interested.
Yeah.
Contact Ashton.
yes.
Perfect.
If there's any other programming you want to suggest or know anybody that wants to do anything,
Yeah.
certainly have them reach out. We're open to any help or any other ideas.
So we have to finish the disc golf course first.
Right. All right, any other programs?
Yeah.
I'll move on to the bike trail parcel
Yeah, so
on Lake County.
Yeah, so in your packet, you have a map, a picture of a map and an email. So there is a property on the corner of North Union Cass, kind of across triangular there off of the Northwestern Bike Trail. We've been working with the county because they foreclosed on the property due to lack of payment of taxes. At one point, the city did, I believe, own the property. They sold it to a private individual. I think there was an intention to build a house or something there, never panned out. It's an awkward lot. There's not really anything you
You can't
do with it. So they got it back. I believe we've had an opportunity to acquire it in the past as the city declined. But now that it is a tax foreclosure, the county, when we recognized that, I reached out to the county and said, you know, is there any chance we can get first crack at it? So they set a price of $12,500 that they would sell it to the city of Ripon for. The goal of it, ultimately, from a planning perspective, it's not necessarily been identified in any formal plan. But as we look at the bike trail and not necessarily creating a trailhead, because there kind of is one by the library with some parking there. What could we do with that logically there? You could add parking, you could add a bike repair station, you could add bathrooms. There's no public bathrooms on the Northwestern Trail from here all the way to
PP.
yeah, there's
This
no.
would be a great little spot for some bathrooms and a little couple picnic tables or something. I mean, it's not that big, but
It's not too far from Eagle Park, to be honest.
But Eagle doesn't have.
They don't have restrooms, but I mean, they've got the benches and
Oh, okay,
and that
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
at Eagle Park.
Yeah.
This though, you know, for restrooms and.
So it's a
And that
small.
restroom, wash station, you know.
Yeah, that we talked about it today, and they make like prefabricated little restrooms now that you can put on. It's really they're really
So
they're
you
really
just gotta
cute
run You
actually.
just gotta run plumbing to it,
And we
right?
have water and wastewater sewer there.
Everything's right there.
It obviously is a project we'll have to work on,
Right.
but you know, it's not appropriate to expect the library to be the bathroom for the trail, like,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You know, so we just wanted to bring it to Parks and Rec Committee, see if there was, you know, any desire to recommend to the council that we acquire it and then use it for park land development. Certainly, on the flip side, we don't need more property maintained. Like, we don't.
I think that's the reason.
Wait, who's gonna mow it?
We're gonna hopefully get rid of some other property. But
Put a little shed there, they say.
Well, it can also be like a little neighborhood park.
I was gonna say, you know, there's a apartment complex that's
Right, there's-
close there, right?
Yeah,
So,
some houses
a little
here.
neighborhood park.
that little pocket park would be nice. you know?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to have much.
Swing set up?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Being on the trail and that stuff, if we're gonna incorporate it into something to use with the Northwestern Trail, Wisconsin Bike Fed might be someone to reach out to see if they have any grants or
What is it?
Wisconsin Bike Fed. We deal with them with the trail we're building. They might have some funds that are available to help with that, especially if we're gonna put a bike repair station there, or you can say the port.
the county has?
6 months, 7 months, they just, we did say to them, we are interested in it, but I did say, I'm not interested in it with a bunch of fallen trees on it. So then they came in and they took those all out, but I think that's reflected in the price now, So,
You know, obviously, there are ways that we can say, hey, we'll give you this amount, you know, can we come to like 10 grand on this instead of 12.
There's some negotiation.
I think I hope to be able to negotiate with them, but really it's just from a concept, if Parks and Rec Committee is interested in pursuing this, I can work on that and then bring forward a proposal to the council. So, so if there's a motion from Parks and Rec to pursue the acquisition of this parcel.
I'll make a motion to pursue
Okay.
it.
I'll second.
Motion's made by Jason, seconded by
Jason.
Jason. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, looking good.
Thank you. Another piece.
Yes. Yeah, it's just such an odd shaped size that there really isn't much else you can do with it.
And we want to protect the trail too. We don't know what somebody's going to buy it and want to do with it.
Yeah.
And certainly protecting that corner and the trail and everything is
Beneficial
important.
for the people that use it, so that's.
Oh, definitely. All right, recreation report.
Yeah.
I think you've given a lot already.
I know. No, just keep going. So I already said the first part of this, I guess, so we don't have to go over that. So, okay, horseshoe pits. A few weeks back, I got an email from a parent saying that their 7-year-old son easily broke off a part of the horseshoe pits. And when I was up at Barlow Park, when I was up here, I just walked all the parks one day, and I was looking at the horseshoe pits, and there's wood on the ground. It's like half broken, and they just look so weathered. It does not look good. So after further investigating all of them at Barlow, Thresco, Murray, I thought it might be in the best interest just to pull them out, just for the overall beautification of the park. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but they do not look great.
I would agree with that. I mean, there's no horseshoes around. It's not like you can walk over and grab horseshoes off the wall and play.
Yeah.
So you have to bring your own.
Or you can get them through the city if you rent the park or whatever. It's
Right,
part
but
of the
most
day.
people don't have their own horseshoes.
No.
Are we renting out horseshoes?
No.
It's kind of not a,
I've been in this community a long time. And
I don't think anybody knows
about
where the
5
horseshoes, rental horseshoes are.
About
anymore.
25 years ago, there used to be a league up at Barlow, and that's really about the last time that they were really used.
Ashton and I have talked, I think the more appropriate thing to do is either put bags or, cornhole
Yeah,
things
that's what I was
outside
gonna say.
here or outside shelters, because they do make commercial
Mhm.
or concrete poured ones that are permanent.
Yeah.
So we'll start
Go to
exploring.
Go to that route versus
Go that route,
horseshoes.
because people can bring their bags.
Yeah.
We can replace horseshoes with bags. You can
Smart,
put in
safer.
small bocce ball
25
courts.
years from now, we'll let somebody else wear that.
And
Those
besides,
guys playing bags, tear these up, put some horseshoes in.
our horseshoe pits never had blue clay, like, you're supposed to have. They were always sand and that. So, yeah, it's a good idea to pull it.
Okay,
Good job, Ashton.
thanks.
Okay.
And
We'll
that's
get
the
on
only
it.
part that has them, right?
We know,
No,
There's
there's,
Soresco,
yeah.
Barlow, and Murray.
so all of them?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I could easily just and they would come off.
Okay.
Like that's how
Yeah.
poor they are.
she's telling me the story that it's just kind of funny because the mother wanted to have the child learn a lesson by helping fix.
I was like, no.
They're gone.
Appreciate that.
It's like, you can help remove them.
We'll turn the rest of them off for us.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
that's how it
To
started.
reduce our labor costs.
Yeah. Yep, so, there's that. And then I've been talking with the Ripon Diamond Booster Club and Ripon Youth Baseball and Softball Club, or not club. And I've just been emailing them asking, well, I sent the initial email because I was just curious. I said, do you all have a schedule or a routine that is followed in the previous years when it comes to infield maintenance on the ball diamonds? And I just said, I'm working on getting infields and warning tracks sprayed for weeds on a regular basis. So the city, we already spray for, what's it called? The fancy word for dandelions.
Weeds.
And yeah, it's in the quote. They're already spraying, guys coming to spray for them on the outfield already. So I got a quote for him to spray the infields, the warning tracks, and the fence line as well. So then it would either be done once a month or twice a month instead of whenever they sprayed. I'm not sure what they did in the past. So
Capacity is to spray just once a year.
yeah. Yeah, so obviously it was not a lot. So I emailed just asking that, and I just said I'm trying to stay on top of this now that I'm here. And they just explained that they prep the field, or they pay someone to field prep before their travel games, and they pay for field prep before games. So then I didn't really understand if that meant just before games, or are they doing it like regularly?
The day of the game, the day of the games, they have somebody come,
Yeah.
drag the field and mark
Yeah.
it, so it's ready for their games.
Yeah, so I just haven't gotten a clear answer yet on exactly. And I just responded back that I'd love to see a plan for regular field maintenance so that I know that they're just getting maintained. I mean, I can see it out my door when I were in here and seeing if they're getting maintained, but I would just prefer to see something set in stone there. This person's coming this many or this week, whatever, to maintain it. And then I just said we would take on the weed spraying so that it's consistent, so there's no random patches of a bunch of weeds because it's not getting sprayed. Yeah, and I'm just, that's essentially what I'm discussing with them. It's just trying to figure out all of that currently because it's just unclear to me.
Fun group to work with.
Can we, I've been asked to mention this, open the bathrooms at the beginning of the season?
yeah,
It-
They're open.
Like,
Well, they might be open now, but they weren't open for the first games.
Well,
So it
depends on the
depends.
weather,
yeah,
is when they
so,
open them up, because if it's chance for freezing, they're not gonna open them up and then have pipes freeze and break. Because we go through that with high school baseball. Our first game is always the end of March. It's usually the second to third week of April by the time the weather is conducive to put the water in that on. That's why the school brings in porta potties for that aspect. They put one down by the softball fields, they put one up at Barlow, just because we can't turn the water on too soon.
And-
This is a major project.
yeah, and I worked with DPW to make sure, like, when I knew that the weather was good to go and the pipes wouldn't freeze, that they were turned on, like, immediately after the
Because I
fact.
called Alan
I-
too.
Yeah, I
Chris
talked
and Paul
to,
talked.
yeah, I talked to Chris, I think every single week,
Mhm.
asking, I could just check the weather, but, like, do you think it's gonna be done this week? Because I just had so many people asking me that I didn't know what to say, or I don't know, it just depends on weather.
That's what it is every year.
Yeah,
And it can change. We've had years where, it was open by the first week of April, because we've had good weather, but this year was not a good spring.
Why is it dependent on weather?
Because
Well,
of freezing,
They're not
Oh, right.
heating.
yeah, they're not.
Oh,
the bathrooms are not heating that.
Mhm.
yeah, so we've received a ton of complaints about
They're
we
climate,
we are,
if they're climate
we
control
are,
buildings, then
Yeah.
you can
we are
Easily
pushing,
turn it around.
we are pushing. And this year, we really kept pushing. Up here, with this facility, these bathrooms actually can open and be open all
Right,
year
'cause
round.
inside.
It's a little bit of a jog, but certainly, we get a path put in and everything, it'll be a little bit easier to access. So yeah, so
Okay.
ultimately, we know it's a problem, we work hard to do it. It's just, we don't wanna,
Well, I didn't know it was weather. because
Create
I
a
was
problem.
told, Ripon and Green Lake bathrooms are open. Why isn't Ripon?
Because they're-
only-
I got the email.
The heating, yeah. I've gotten that for years. When you tell them, you know,
Yeah,
we'll take your donation so that we can put in heated, you know, that's
Okay, well,
what
no, this
Yeah.
is good to know now. I have.
we are, all I will say is we get it.
Yeah.
We are working to, we can't also put at risk the facilities from being damaged because of that as well. So we get it, we hear it, we're doing what we can within reason.
yeah, and now that prior, the outdoor bathrooms here, they were locked. And because of the security system we weren't trained on yet, we couldn't get in, or we could get in, but nobody else could get in without our key. So now we're updated with the security system and everything is set in stone where we can just go on our phones and unlock it. But yeah, so now it is accessible anytime of year.
And also up here, the youth programs are starting earlier and earlier every year.
Yeah,
You know, it used to be they never started until May. You know, now they're starting the end of March, you know, so that's part of the problem there too.
and I was trying to be as helpful as I could with it, but when you have weather there, you can't do anything about it.
Well, I hear it all the time from schools that come to play at Barlow, you know, they're pulling on the doors, they're not, well, why not? That's why we got the blue building there, you know?
Well, it's good to have a ready answer. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, so I'm trying to be as helpful as possible, and when it comes to field prep, bathrooms, anything, like I'm trying my best. You guys already saw the logo. Right now he's working on getting me either just the logo put on the rec vehicle or the police vehicle. Or, people slow down for me. Or yeah, like a wrap, so he's gonna get
reaches in and grabs the blue light.
Yeah, so I'm getting that work done. And then the last thing, because of the Leadership Fond du Lac through Envision Greater Fond, that sounds so weird together, it doesn't sound right. The Envision Greater Fond du Lac, we are getting a bike repair station right outside the building here. So on the 30th, I think Jolene said it should be installed. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, It's a Yes, it's a bike shop.
Hutter is the individual.
Okay, yeah, it's a bike shop in Green Lake, and then Cliff's Tire and Auto, they contributed so we could have the station here, so, yeah, it's pretty cool. So in about a week, it'll be put in. That's all I have to say. Said a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. All right, any project updates?
The paving of the trail project will be done here. It's being bid today, so it'll be done into the council in early June. So hope to have the trail paved and everything done there. And then also, hopefully in the next few weeks as well, we'll have picnic tables and things around the patio and under trailhead area here, as well as we're still working out the kinks on this building and some of the landscaping. We gotta have them come back and address, so, that's about, so. Yes.
When the trail does get paved, is there going to be any way to prevent people from parking on it?
So that's another issue that I've talked about. We will be reusing, unless they fall into the river, in the creek. There are rocks, the landscape rocks at the
Gonna do
bridge,
something
cycle
like
stick
that.
bridge. We'll put them there. That's the plan. So we don't, we'll have some signage, but we believe that we have to physically put something in the way at this point
Because I've noticed that, what to do the fields.
to protect the trail. Because once we pave it, we do not want people parking on it.
Right.
And I did let them know, that is not gonna stop somebody right now,
No.
but they asked me if people were allowed to park on the trail currently, and I just said no. Just to start off,
Mhm.
even before it's paved, so hopefully,
Is there any
Yeah.
thought of, I know in past years, we used to be able to mow a little bit more across the road for them to park there for the ball games and that? Have you looked into that at all?
I haven't, it's privately owned, so,
Right.
I mean, whether they are just, they're an absent property owner that doesn't know what happens, that might be part of it. We have worked with the school and they're willing to have backup parking all along there. There's this lot here now.
But you know how people are, they're gonna be down there, I'm down there, I wanna park down there, I don't wanna park up here and that.
Yeah.
You know how that,
It's,
so, yeah.
it's,
Especially with the tournaments, when they have the tournament in June, that might be something to look at, if we can get some extra parking on that, because it will be packed all weekend long.
this is school, isn't it?
No, that
Oh.
used to be owned by Rice, and they sold this, Rice still has it, do they? And they used to allow us to mow a 10-foot off the road for parking, so.
well, if they used to, then they still do.
Well, they haven't said no yet, let's do it, you know?
Nobody's told us nothing.
Yeah. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. But yeah, that's something to look at for down there, especially with that tournament weekend coming up. I believe it's the 22nd and 23rd of June.
That's all I had.
Okay, suggestions for agenda for the next meeting? Do we want to meet earlier next month? Do we want to meet next month? I think we should be with everything that's going on.
We can
The
try it
regular-
out.
Yeah, I mean, we could
You know,
probably.
I mean, the reason we went to the
probably
other
finalize this
one
golf layout
was
by
because
next
things were a little slower in that. But, this coming in and everything else that's going on, I think we should meet.
month. Yeah,
next
I think we would probably finalize the disc golf course layout by next month. I mean, it's mostly already
Yeah.
there.
It's
It's
just,
just a matter of.
if we make any changes or when we change.
Yeah.
Well, if your subcommittee brings it
Like,
to
I-
us,
I-
we'll print it really quick.
I definitely, you're right, I don't like throwing over, that lane, like if we could just move that a little bit.
Anything else? Anybody want anything on an agenda?
What, can I ask the status on the fitness court?
Yes, so in the last meeting I had last week, so like I said, the one grant we were looking at, it was smaller than what we expected it to be, I guess. The other one, the details have not been released yet. The other grant we were looking at specifically for that. So far, there hasn't been any funding other than the grant. And I talked with our guy, and he said that if we push it back again, then the grant committee for the NFC might say, just push it to next year. And that's what Adam and I were talking about before the meeting, that it might be at that point with just, I don't know, everything going on project-wise and stuff like that. So that's where
Okay, thank
we're
you.
at first.
Appreciate it.
Mhm. So then I would just reapply, but he said there really wouldn't be any reasons why you would not get the grant again, so.
Anything else from anyone? Do we want to meet earlier next month than the end of the
If
month?
you want to play it by ear, we can try to play it by ear.
Yeah. Maybe push it up.
Yeah.
See how everybody's schedule is, 'cause to keep everything moving.
Exactly.
Maybe shoot for the 14th or 21st or something.
Okay.
14th. Yeah.
21st, I can't, but
Well, if we push the 21st, we might as well
14th and
Might
then
as well stay where we are.
Yeah,
Put it on time.
yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
get to work.
Only thing I got on the 14th so far is Flag Day.
Perfect.
Day.
Everybody come dressed as your favorite flag. Alright. Otherwise then, okay, nothing else, I'll obtain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Still gotta do that?
Yeah, we still gotta do that.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned